Welcome to the Living Sephardic Heritage Series by our Kehillah LESHEM, sponsored by the Tzaddik family. Tonight we're going to talk about Rabbi Chaim Vital, the foremost student of the Ari HaKadosh. In the words of the Ari HaKadosh, we all know who the Ari HaKadosh is, the father of the Lurianic Kabbalah, which everyone follows today. I was born in this world just to teach you, Rabbi Chaim. And the words of Rabbi Chaim Vital, I was a Chassid Shoteh. I was a chassid, a crazy chassid. I thought that everybody has to come and learn, and I forced my Rabbi to teach everyone else, which eventually caused the Ari HaKadosh's demise, unfortunately, in his Petira. Rabbi Chaim Vital was born to his father, Rabbi Yosef Vital, in the year 5303 from Yitzirah, from the creation of the world. And his father, Rabbi Yosef Vital, his last name was really Calabris. Calabris means from Calabria. They were an Italian family. And 2 years before he was born, according to some accounts, 3 years, he was told by a very big chacham that he will have a son, that his light will shine throughout the world. Rabbi Chaim Vital was born shortly after his father moved to Jerusalem. And in Jerusalem, when he was born, Rabbi Chaim Vital, he grew up amongst the greats. He lived in Tzfat, in the city of Tzfat. As we know, in Judaism, we have 4 holy cities: Hebron, which is the city of the Avot, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, which correspond to fire; Tiberias, Tiberia, which corresponds to water, the Kinneret; Yerushalayim, Jerusalem, which corresponds to earth; and we have Tzfat, which corresponds to air, spirituality, spirit. And over there in Tzfat is where Rav Chaim Vital grew up, and he was the student of Rav Moshe Alshich. Rav Moshe Alshich was known as one of the greatest chachamim, who got direct smicha, or rabbinic ordination, from the greatest Sephardic luminary of that time, and maybe in all the times, Rabbi Yosef Karo, the author of the Shulchan Aruch, the Code of Jewish Law. It was there that Rabbi Yosef Karo told Rav Alshich to be very careful with your young student Chaim Vital, because half of the world stands because of his father's tefillin, the kosherness, how kosher his father's tefillin is, and half of the world stands because of the Torah that this young boy will one day learn. And there was also Rav Yosef Karo, the Maran Shulchan Aruch, the author of the Code of Jewish Law, that said that Rabbi Vital was the reincarnation, the reincarnation of Rabbi Meir Baal Hanes and Rabbi Yeshua Sofer, who were both great Tanaim in the time of the Tanaic time of the Mishnah, when the Mishnah was being written. And look how amazing it is. They were both Sofrim, Lavlar, they were both scribes, and Rabbi Yosef Vital was also a scribe. So that shows that you have a connection to your previous reincarnation, what your previous reincarnation was. You'll also have a tendency to go in that direction, in work, in thinking, in ideology. So Rav Chaim Vital grew up, and he had a bit of gaiva growing up because he was extremely smart, as he writes himself in his own private diary. And when he was a young boy, he married a girl named Chana. Unfortunately, his father-in-law was a bit into something called kisharim, to tie the chatan. What they would do, they would put a certain kishuf that would tie the bride and groom together, that would cause a lot of spiritual problems. And Rav Chaim Vital suffered this for a very long time. In his own words, he couldn't have a zivug, he couldn't procreate with his wife, Chana, for a very long time. And from this first wife, he saw a lot of problems. When the Ari HaKadosh showed up to Tzfat, and he said to Rav Chaim Vital that I came here to teach you, it was in a dream. Rav Chaim Vital didn't want to come. In fact, he ignored the dreams for a very long time. And by the time he came to the Ari, and the Ari said, by this time already I came to teach you, now I don't want to teach you anymore. He asked him a couple of questions, he answered them, and he said, get out now. Rav Chaim Vital was very distraught. He understood his mistake, and it was this tshuva. And he told HaKadosh Baruch Hu, God, please don't close the ways of teshuvah for me. The Ari HaKadosh sent a messenger to him and said to him, come back. He said, first of all, don't ever say anything against God. Because who do you think put that message of teshuvah inside of you, if it wasn't God himself? God himself put that idea inside of you, so you should bring it to fruition. And second of all, everything that happened to you with your wife and everything is for a certain reason. Because in the previous reincarnation, you, Rabbi Chaim Vital, were the Gilgul of the Magid Mishnah. Whoever knows a little bit about halachic law, the Rambam's main commentary is the Magid Mishnah, a Rav called Rabbi Vidal, the Toulouse. And it's very interesting, Rabbi Vital, Rabbi Chaim Vital, and Rabbi Vidal is very similar in names. And he said Rabbi Vidal made a mistake in the previous reincarnation in Nidar. And that's why you're suffering from your life in this reincarnation. And he prescribed him, I call it a prescription, a Kabbalistic prescription, only people back in the day could have done, of to do a certain amount of teshuvah, and he did. There's much to say about Rav Chaim Vital, his life, his story, how he couldn't learn Torah by the Ari Kadosh, and he took him to the Kinneret in Tiberias, in Tiberia, and he put his bucket into the water, and he said, this is where the well of Miriam ended, and when you drink it, you're going to have photographic memory. There's many stories we could say. I know some people who say, let's go to the Kinneret today and drink from all the parts of the water, we're going to have photographic memory. I say, yes. You could drink from the water of the well of Miriam, but it depends who gave you the water. If Chaim Vital had the Ari Kadosh who gave him the water, who will it be that will be giving you the water? Chaim Vital, eventually, because he brought in students to learn under the Ari Kadosh, which the Ari said not to bring in, because I came to this world to teach you, because I am the Nitzotz, the spark of Rabbi Eliezer HaGadol, and you are the spark of Rabbi Akiva. And that caused, because he brought other students, that caused Chas v'Shalom, well, it happened, the demise of the Ari Kadosh, because of the fight, the inner fighting arguments that happened between the students. And that's why the Mekubalim, they have a custom before Erev Shabbos to say Hatarat Nedarim Uklalot, disavowing all vows and curses. Rabbi Chaim Vital eventually moved to Jerusalem, where the Ari said, over there you will find your main potential, you will be able to grow to your main potential. But because of a certain story that happened with one of the Pashas of Turkey, of the Ottoman Empire, he was forced to move to Damascus. And over there in Damascus, he lived till the end of his life. And I just want to end with one small, beautiful thing about Rav Chaim Vital that not many people know. We all know the story when he moved to Jerusalem. Abu Sifin, the head Pasha, he wanted to open up the river of Gihon, a certain river that the Jewish king, 1,000 more years ago, Chizkiyahu HaMelech closed. And he told Rav Chaim Vital, open up the river or else, Chas v'Shalom, off with your head. Rav Chaim Vital didn't want to open up the river. He made a Kfitzat Haderech and he jumped to Damascus. We call it a jump. It's like going through time. And he gets to Damascus, and over there he lived the rest of his life. And we know from certain diaries of Rav Chaim Vital and the Ari Kadosh that he was supposed to be Mashiach ben Yosef. So the question is, everyone asks, why did he jump? Why did he jump? And the answer to why he jumped, the Mekubalim say he did it on purpose, because the Ari told him, if you wouldn't have jumped, if you would have opened up the river, it would have been mamish the time of Mashiach. So why did he jump? The answer is because in Damascus, whoever learns Etz HaChaim knows, in Damascus there's a certain klipa called Beit Rimon. Rav Chaim Vital moved specifically to Damascus to destroy that klipa, that impure force. And till today he's buried right across Beit Rimon, certain Avodah Zarah of Damascus. So that's how the Mekubalim thought Mashiach, and Mashiach everything was Avodat Hashem. Baruch Adonai le'olam, Amen ve'amen.